previous speaker, I believe his name was Nathan. David came up here and introduced him and said, what a great guy, glorious guy, smartest guy I know, like, best man at his wedding, we go skiing all the time, like, he'd marry my daughter, and I get, oh, here's some guys from Broda. I'm just saying, but I'm not just saying. Also, I did get the memo from the wonderful people at MediRoutes that said, every speaker that gets up here has to ask for a show of hands. Apparently that's the thing. So I am going to ask for a show of hands. Who here, I like your hands. Who here identifies as a human being? Hopefully, I know the world we're in, but still. So good. We created a good, safe space of human beings. I think one of the greatest things about human beings is this. We have the ability to think. We have the ability to deduct and evaluate and weigh good against bad and create and dream and do all of that in the confines of our own mind. And it's literally what our country was built on. It's what everything we're doing is built on. We have the ability in our minds to ask the question, is there another way? Is there another way? I remember the very first time, not the first time, but very young, I remember the first time I ever saw that put in action. Anybody old enough, like me, to just have one phone, it was in the kitchen, and it had a cord that would go from here to Texas. Right. I also grew up in a household of a mom, a dad, and 3 sisters. So my dad was like, there got to be another way, right? This phone, 3 girls, and mom. I was kind of like, whatever. And so I remember him getting a new phone number and a new phone for the bag because he's like, there's got to be another way. This is going to drive me bug nuts. So he gets another way and he does that. And imagine how many is there another ways between that interaction and this. I mean, this is where we're at, right? I don't even have a landline anymore. I don't need a long cord. We walk around it all the time. And so that's so many iterations of, is there another way? Think about it. Probably the one that stands out the most is a company that answered the question, is there another way? And they did it twice. Netflix, although I loved my trips to Blockbuster, it was a lot of fun, unless they didn't have the movie I wanted. But Netflix says, you know what, we're going to bypass all that, we're going to ship them discs. And then we're like, hey, everybody's getting rid of their players, we don't have anything, and so now we're going to stream it. And you just have a whole world created from answering the question that they asked of, is there another way? Our entire industry, the reason you're here is because somebody answered that question. NEMT is the answer to a question of, is there another way? How can I assist? How can I help? How can I make something better for a discharge plan or hospital? How can I make somebody who is bedbound and at home and has no means to access to public transportation? Is there another way? Brilliant minds, more brilliant than us, have dreamed those answers. MediRoutes, you're here because Steve said, is there another way? There is. I don't know what it was like before. No cards? I mean, I don't know. But they created another way. And so that's really what we've done at Broda. We're a 43-year-old company that is specialized in healthcare wheelchair seating. So our goal has always been safety and comfort. And so in our world of that, we started seeing and noticing, hey, there are these entities called NEMTs. I wonder how that ties into what we're doing from a care side on the healthcare side. And then we started dealing with some of those companies, and then we started hearing the issues and the questions and the things that we started to deduct, man, I wonder if there's another way. As we all know, kind of the standard, and I was just talking to somebody at lunch today, the standard in transport is gurney stretcher or other. I used to say wheelchair, but I say other because I've seen a lot of contraptions that may or may not be a wheelchair that we certainly transported in, but it's gurney stretcher and wheelchair. Our minds got together and said, there's got to be another way. There's got to be something else. And so that's what brings us here today. I'm going to introduce our national executive, our account executive for Traversa, this is Bandas, out of Texas. If we got anybody from Texas, out of Texas. Amen. And he's going to talk a little bit about the chair. What I want to do is make sure that we spend, from a physical function standpoint, I'm going to do a lot of that and try to get you guys back to the booth so you can kind of see that. But he's going to talk a little bit about how and answer that question of, is there another way, specifically gearing towards your business that you do? So go ahead.
Before we start, can everybody hear me pretty good? If I just talk with a...
Do you want a mic?
Oh, no. Well, that's fine, yeah, sure. Just in case.
Is there another way?
There's always another way.
First of all, I would sure appreciate it if you'd come sit down in our chair right up here. Look at our model, everybody. There's our model right there. I figured he had a big enough lunch that we can just let him relax a little bit. And let's see if I can put him to sleep in the next 5 to 10 minutes here. How about that? No, as Dave was saying, there's got to be another way. What's really interesting to us is as we started talking to the folks that have used Broda chairs in the past in the NEMT world, we really started to distill out what is the other way. We've got stretcher, gurney, we've got everything else. As Dave alluded to, we even found out that there was one operator using a stadium seat ratcheted down to the floor of a van once so they could get an extra person in the van. I hope nobody here does something like that. But that really brings up, from a safety perspective, what's another way to do it? What's another way that you can prevent injuries from happening? What's another way that you can keep somebody safe at the same time they're comfortable? What's another way that we can have a crash-tested wheelchair that will help somebody survive if the unthinkable happens? What's another way if even that crash doesn't happen? It's just a low-speed maneuver where we've seen people falling out of a chair because they were not secured properly. I don't know if you know this, but there was a study that was done that said this one company took a look at all their videotapes for a year, found out that it was 82% of the time that the chair was secured properly, 32% of the time that the occupant was secured properly. Who wants to ride with that? There's got to be another way to do that, you know. The flip side of the safety is also, what does that mean to you? There's really two things here. There's both a hard ROI and what somebody called a soft ROI. How do you get a market advantage as more and more people enter the non-emergency medical transportation world? How do you have a product that becomes a pull-through demand, both from your customers like the discharge planners or from the folks at the nursing homes that are going to be doing long-distance transport? How do you show that you're on top of the game from a technology and a safety standpoint? There's got to be another way, right? Not just a standard old wheelchair that they'll wheel out and tell you what they're going to put their person in. How about a hard ROI? There's got to be another way to do a safe transport using half of the labor of, say, a gurney transport, being able to safely transfer somebody from a prone position to a prone position, and then transport them safely. There's got to be another way to do this. And there's got to be a way to do this where you could recoup your costs with a premium charge that most contracts and private pay will pay in order to have this premium service. There's got to be another way to make more money than just the standard transports that we've all seen. There's got to be another way to do, get away from like the broker business that you can go out and chase and get the full margin on for your own business. There's another way. That's what we've been doing this whole time. As Dave said, we've been able to listen to the operators who've used our chairs. And in fact, this is a collection of everything they said. One of the funnest things I ever did is I went to an existing Broda customer, and instead of telling them all the features and benefits, I said, what do you wish this chair would do? And they said, we wish it would go up and down. I didn't say anything. I just started pumping this thing and putting it straight up. We're going to demonstrate all this later on. And they said, what else do you wish this chair could do? Have a higher weight capacity. Done. This is everything that all of our operators use. How are you feeling about it? Pretty good. Pretty good? Be happy to move that up. How about that? So there's gotta be another way. So anyway, but we just wanted to make sure that you knew there is another way. This is there's a lot of folks that are finding this part of this business, that's between the gurney and everything else, that is in high demand. And we're finding discharge planners, nurses, even customers are asking for specifically by name, and we have the answer to that other way right now. So please feel free to stop by. We'd love to show you the chair. We've had a lot of fun putting people up and down in the back already. We have a QR code right here that's available as well. Financing is available. We have special pricing for you folks that are here at this show.
Just for today and tomorrow.
Just for today and tomorrow.
MediRoutes.
He's the boss, that's what he told me to say.
And
right
also
there.
there's a QR code in the back, and if you scan that, we're giving away free chair. You won't have to carry it on the plane, don't worry, we'll ship it to you. But at least, we'll ask for a little bit of information. But my favorite, is there another way? And you can kind of see it on the example of the chair that we got laid flat. Is there another way to do full supine transfer, which is the goal of a gurney or a stretcher? Is there another way to do full supine transfer with only one person? Yeah, there's another way. So that's what we're excited to talk about and show you guys. So when we get some chance, please come back, ask any questions. We own half the room with the staff that we brought. So feel free to ask any question of any of those people back there. And they're just here to help and show and talk ROI and show you how maybe there's something you haven't thought about that's another way to do it that we're starting to see transforming a lot of businesses across the country. And referral sources are loving it, cases loving it. So thank you guys for the time, and take over, even though I'm just a guy. I'm not amazing.